Most people do the same few exercises over and over again, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it can make your workouts feel stale. So today, I'm going to share 5 underrated exercises that will completely change your body. These aren't gimmicky tricks, these are time-tested movements with scientific support that I personally do every week, and I think you should too. The first exercise is a simple way to improve your knee health, build bulletproof legs, increase ankle mobility, and eliminate knee pain for good. It's the ATG split squat. ATG stands for ass to grass, which means you're going as deep as humanly possible. And if you've never tried this movement before, you need to next time you work out. This exercise completely changed my knees. I used to have constant aching and clicking, but after doing these consistently for a few months, all of that disappeared. Now for some context, most people do regular split squats or lunges, but they only go down until their front thigh is parallel to the ground. That's fine for building strength, but it doesn't do much for knee health or mobility. The ATG split squat takes you all the way down so your back knee touches the ground gently and your front knee travels far forward over your toes. This deep position strengthens all the muscles, tendons, and ligaments around your knee joint in ranges most people never train. ATG split squats can bulletproof your knees by strengthening them through their full range of motion. And if your knees feel unstable or you get pain going downstairs, you'll get massive relief from doing these. The scientific evidence is clear. Training your knees through a full range of motion with control actually makes them stronger and more resilient, not more prone to injury like some people think. First, find a stable surface you can use. A bench, a box, or even just the floor works. Get into a split stance with your back foot elevated on the surface and your front foot flat on the ground, about 2 to 3 feet in front. Now slowly lower yourself down under control. Let your back knee gently touch the ground while your front knee travels forward over your toes. Don't be afraid of that knee going past your toes. That's actually the point. Then drive through your front foot to stand back up. This will feel awkward at first, especially if you have tight ankles or weak knees. Start with just your body weight and focus on the depth and control. Once you can do 10 clean reps on each leg, you can add weight by holding dumbbells at your sides or a weight at your chest. I usually do these for 8 to 12 reps per leg, and I do them twice a week as part of my leg training. Try it out and see how your knees feel. If you can't go all the way down yet, that's fine. Just go as deep as you can and work on improving your range of motion over time. Within a few weeks, you'll notice your knees feeling stronger and more stable in everything you do. The next exercise takes hip mobility to a whole new level and fixes imbalances almost nobody even knows they have. I call it the hip airplane, and it's one of the best movements for hip health and lower back pain relief. Here's the idea. Your hips are designed to rotate internally and externally, but most people have completely lost that ability from sitting all day. This creates compensation patterns that lead to knee pain, hip pain, and lower back problems. With the hip airplane, you're training both internal and external hip rotation while standing on one leg. This builds stability, mobility, and strength all at the same time. And here's the key. Most hip exercises only work in one plane of motion, but the hip airplane works rotation, which is what most people are missing. Here's what you do. Stand on one leg with your knee slightly bent, hinge forward at your hips, and extend your other leg straight behind you, parallel to the ground. Your body should form a T shape. Now here's where it gets interesting. Keeping your hips square and your standing leg stable, rotate your torso and lifted leg together. Open your hips up by rotating your lifted leg and torso toward the ceiling. Then rotate back down and pass center toward the floor. For technique, think about your pelvis rotating around your standing leg like an airplane propeller. That's where the name comes from. Your standing leg stays completely still while everything else rotates. Do 5 to 8 rotations on each leg, moving slowly and with control. Don't rush this one. The goal is smooth, controlled rotation while maintaining your balance. I usually do these as part of my warm-up or on lower body days. And while I don't think this exercise will suddenly cure all your problems, I do think if you're completely missing rotational hip work in your training, you're leaving massive gains in mobility and injury prevention on the table. Now, if you prefer simple hip stretches, they'll still help, but add the hip airplane if you want to actually build strong mobile hips that can handle rotation under load. Okay, this next exercise I've been doing consistently, and I absolutely love it for spine health and hamstring flexibility. It takes everything you've been told about keeping your back straight and throws it out the window. It's the Jefferson curl. Now, I've talked about spinal flexion before, but here's the key point. Your spine is designed to flex and round. The problem isn't rounding your spine. The problem is rounding under heavy load before you've built up the strength to handle it. That's where the Jefferson curl comes in. You start light, build up gradually, and train your spine to be strong in flexion. Because gravity pulls your spine into flexion constantly throughout the day, there's actually tension on your spinal muscles and discs at the bottom. And new research shows that controlled spinal flexion under light load can actually improve disc health and reduce back pain. But I still think it's smart to start very light and progress slowly. I find it helps my back feel loose and mobile instead of stiff and achy. Set up by standing on a platform or box so you can reach lower than ground level. Hold a very light weight in your hands, maybe 5 or 10 pounds to start. Now tuck your chin to your chest and slowly roll down one vertebra at a time. Let the weight pull you deeper into the stretch. Your spine should round progressively from top to bottom. Go as low as you can with control, feeling the stretch through your entire posterior chain. Once you get to the bottom with the weight hanging below your feet, pause for a second, then reverse the movement by stacking each vertebra back up one at a time until you're standing tall again. This should take 5 to 10 seconds for the complete movement. Do 5 to 8 reps, focusing on smooth, controlled motion. The Jefferson curl is incredible for building resilient hamstrings and a spine that can handle any position safely. Start light and be patient. Add weight very gradually over months, not weeks. I've worked up to using 25 pounds after doing these consistently for over a year, and my back has never felt better. So I don't think I've seen many people do this one outside of serious strength coaches and physical therapists. It's hanging scapular shrugs, and they're amazing for shoulder health. First, I should explain why I like them so much. It's really because this is one of the only ways to isolate and strengthen your serratus anterior and lower traps, the muscles responsible for upward rotation of your shoulder blade. When you do regular pull-ups or rows, your shoulder blades move, but they're not the primary focus. Your arms and lats do most of the work. With hanging scapular shrugs, your elbows stay completely locked and you move only your shoulder blades. This isolates the exact muscles that keep your shoulders healthy and prevent impingement. The technique is pretty simple. Hang from a pull-up bar with your arms completely straight. Don't bend your elbows at all. Now, let your shoulder blades spread apart and your shoulders shrug up toward your ears. This is the bottom position. From here, pull your shoulder blades down and together, depressing them away from your ears. Your body will rise slightly, maybe an inch or two, but your arms never bend. A cue I use is to think about pinching your shoulder blades together. This helps you focus on the scapular depression instead of trying to pull with your arms. Obviously, you don't need to move very far. If you're doing it right, your body only rises a couple of inches. Now, if you don't have access to a pull-up bar, you can do these on rings or even using a resistance band attached overhead. Just make sure you keep your arms completely straight throughout, and if you only have dumbbells, you can do something similar with overhead shrugs, but the hanging version is superior for isolating the correct muscles. It's not that I think this movement is going to suddenly double your shoulder gains, but I do think if you're completely missing isolated scapular work and you have shoulder pain or poor overhead mobility, you're probably leaving significant shoulder health on the table. So try these out. Let me know what you think. Now, before I show you the 5th and final exercise, let me address something important. If you're dealing with chronic aches and pains, stiff joints, or you feel like your body just doesn't move the way it used to, you're not alone. Most people think they're stuck with these problems forever. But what if there was a simple step-by-step system that could help you move pain-free again? I created Reboot Your Body specifically for people struggling with these exact issues. It's a 30-day program designed to restore the movement and strength you've lost, so you can play with your kids or grandkids, get through your day without constant aching, and feel confident in your body again. Imagine waking up without that stiff back, bending down to pick things up without fear, and moving through life the way you're supposed to. The link is in the description below if you want to check it out. Alright, this last exercise is something almost nobody does, but it's one of the best movements for preventing shin splints and building bulletproof ankles. It's Tibialis raises. This is a classic movement for strengthening your shins, and it was actually a staple in old school strength training before everyone started only focusing on calves. They'll hit your tibialis anterior, the muscle that runs down the front of your shin. Most people completely neglect this muscle, which creates massive imbalances. Your calves get strong from walking and training, but your shins stay weak. This imbalance is one of the main causes of shin splints, ankle instability, and that shuffling walk that people develop as they age. Actually, the first time I did these with any real intensity, my shins were so sore I could barely walk normally for 3 days. So don't say I didn't warn you. On top of that, your ankles become much more stable because the tibialis anterior controls how your foot lowers to the ground with each step. You also reduce your risk of tripping and falling because this muscle is responsible for lifting your toes up when you walk, For the technique, sit on a bench or chair with your feet flat on the ground. Hook a resistance band around the top of one foot, or use a Tibialis raise machine if your gym has one. Most gyms don't, so the band works great. With your heel staying on the ground, pull your toes up toward your shin as high as you can. Really flex that shin muscle hard, then lower your foot back down under control. Do 15 to 20 reps per set, and do 3 sets on each leg. The first few times will feel weird because you've probably never isolated this muscle before. But within a couple weeks, you'll notice your shins getting visibly bigger and your ankles feeling way more stable. I've been doing these more than calf raises lately because honestly, most people have overdeveloped calves compared to their shins. That imbalance causes problems. A properly developed tibialis anterior prevents shin splints, improves your gait, and makes your lower legs look more balanced and athletic. But honestly, when it comes to lower leg training, the most important thing is balance. You need strong calves and strong shins. Most people only train calves and wonder why they get shin splints or ankle problems. Tibialis raises fix that imbalance. Okay, this wraps up the 5 most underrated exercises that can completely change your body. Let me give you a simple way to program these into your training. You don't need to do all 5 in one workout. That would take forever and probably overtrain some areas. Instead, spread them throughout your weekly split. Add ATG split squats to your leg day. Do them after your main squats or deadlifts. 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps per leg. These will torch your quads and improve your knee health over time. Include hip airplanes in your warm-up before lower body work or as part of your mobility routine. Just 2 sets of 5 to 8 rotations per leg makes a huge difference. Do Jefferson curls as part of your warm-up or cool down on any training day. They work great before deadlifts to prep your posterior chain or after any workout to decompress your spine. Just 5 to 8 slow reps is plenty. Add hanging scapular shrugs at the end of your upper body days. 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps. These won't fatigue you much, but they'll dramatically improve your shoulder health over time. Finally, do Tibialis raises twice per week, either on leg days or as part of your warm-up. 3 sets of 15 to 20 reps per leg. Within a month, your shins will be noticeably stronger and more defined. These aren't flashy exercises that will impress anyone at the gym. Nobody's going to watch you do hip airplanes and think you're the strongest person there. But 6 months from now, when you're moving pain-free, training consistently without injuries, and feeling better than you have in years, you'll understand why these underrated movements are so valuable. So try them out for yourself and let me know what you think. Add them to your training, be consistent, and watch how much better your body feels and performs. These 5 exercises might just be the missing pieces your training has needed all along.